Welcome. This is a little bit different. This is an episode of the Mancode. Ain't done one of these in a while. It's kind of hard to get the brothers together to put it down and handle some business. So I am here tonight to talk about this particular topic. I figure wherever you are, if you're in the mid-eastern, central Atlantic area, you're probably getting ready for some weather conditions. So since it is a Thursday night and you got nothing better to do, what else but to hear the melodious tones of my voice? Welcome, Miss Lackey. Thank you for stopping by. Man, it is a pleasure and a privilege. I don't see you that often outside of Instagram and your channel, of course. So welcome for that. Like I said, y'all, it's what the title says. It's not too complicated. Decided since this is the Man Code show, wanted to talk about some man code violations. Why? But you know what? It don't even matter why I'm doing it. May the words of this speech, my speech, be filled with honesty and deliver insight to those who may be struggling in this thing we call life. I just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the way and do some of the housekeeping before we get started. And to remind you, this is a non-sectarian zone. That's right. We don't do sector bullshit over here. We talk about general topics. I'm missing something. Hey, my mood music. We do general topics over here. This is not the place for you to air personal attacks or for me to air personal attacks. Like I said, that is weak. This commentary is for the sake of those who may benefit from it. This is a lecture, and there is no need to look for any hidden, covert meanings or subliminal motivation. I am doing this simply because. That's all you need to know. Enjoy. If what I'm about to say applies to you or individuals that you may know, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I deal in general, not the specific. You may not agree with that because some part of you is more interested in chastising individuals because you are sadistic and you enjoy seeing people's personal pain. We don't do that here. I do not do that here. And I don't need a bunch of nutsacks swinging around me to help with the commentary. I can hold it down alone using my own mind, my own thoughts, own feelings, aspirations, whatever. Don't need the help. But it's always good to have some others, if you're going to engage in some stimulating conversation, then I can do that. But we're not here to put people's pain on display and exploit that. I wish I would have made up some cue cards and things and made it a nice little presentation for you all, but I didn't get a chance to do that. Well, you know what? Because it wasn't necessary. Most of these lives that I do are impromptu, which means, man, I'll be in the bathroom, washing a dish, drinking some water, and suddenly I come up with this, hey, I want to talk about this. And then here we are. And then you get to hear what I have to say. Again, hope you find it interesting and fulfilling. All right, man. Look, fellas, let me say right up front, right? I'm not one of these man bashing type people. I'm not a woman basher type people. I just like to speak on things and call it as I see it. This is not an attempt at pandering to get close to the ladies. I see y'all do that too. It's not about the ladies, fellas. It's about us having a talk. It's about us keeping it real. It's about us getting back on track to doing things and getting rid of some of the bitch assness up out of our personalities and really putting things down like it's supposed to be. Now, however, I do find some influence from the ladies. I hear a lot of them. I hear them complain. I hear them say certain things, bring things to the forefront, and it goes on deaf ears and it simply gets ignored. But hey, I'm here to talk about what I see. As a man and as a father of sons, I find it my duty. First, what's up on the docket? Number one, fellas, for the love of God, please stay out of women's business. Stay out of women's business. Females have their own conflicts. Why are you all up in the middle of it? All in between the two ladies, regulating, all up in the song, dancing, all on the track. Why? Do you find yourself aligned with the female so you identify with her feminine energy or something? Is that it? For real, welcome, Miss T. Pre. I'm so glad you could stop by. Great show this morning. You're a really good sport. Yeah, for real though, fellas. Why? Why are you there? Why are you there? Now, I remember when I was a little boy, we hung with the boys, okay? We wasn't over there in their stuff. You know, only time we was over there with them if we was trying to get with one of them. But you, nah, you all up in the middle. You got to be, yeah, girl. Look, instead of fanning the flames of the conflict, why aren't you de-escalating it instead of being a cheerleader? Where they do that at? Kind of unmanly. See, now, once upon a time in history, it wasn't like that. I don't know if this is a new generation thing, but I can't say that because sometimes we got old heads doing the same thing. And yes, I know what I say here stings. I know it's something it's an unpopular opinion, something you don't want to hear. But see, that's it. That's the rub. See, I wasn't born to win no popularity contest. I was born and raised to be a man and speak on what I see and put the truth out as I see it. And here we are. Like I said, it ain't always been this way. You know, y'all went from regulating conflicts in the community to becoming Cecil B. DeMille and Spike Lee and all these other directors filming cat fights and supporting it on the sideline. And then you more than happy to run back and put that up on your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook and say, look, they was out here getting down. They was going at it. And you say things like, why didn't you stop it? Yo, it was none of my business. Okay. All right. Cool. So my suggestion, get out the gossip bag. Also, why the hell are you running telling that? Yeah, girl, she said this girl, and then they did this girl. And girl, you ain't gonna believe what they said. Girl, clearly, you didn't have your fathers in your lives. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to remind you. The old man didn't tell you, and I'm here to say, oh, maybe he did. Maybe he did tell you, but you caught up on this internet stuff, see? See, your old man, he's an older dude. He ain't know about the intranets. So I guess he should have said to you when he said, stay out of his business. He should have said on the internet, on the phone, social media, in real life, in this family. I guess he didn't break it down, or maybe he wasn't there, but that's cool. That's cool. You know, some of us, we had to do without the old man sometimes. But nah, for real though, man. Get out of the middle of it, especially if you starting it, you know, it's a real problem. It's a real problem with that. So yeah, we're going to break it down. We're going to break it down because that's my job. That's what I do. Sometimes when you do the job, you become the most hated. I ain't proud of that, but got to speak the truth. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to stand up, right? Oh yeah, and that takes me on to the next point. Stop pocket watching. Say it again. Stop pocket watching. The next man elevates. He gets a leg up. He gets a new position. He gets some prestige. There you go. In his pocket, worrying about what he got, what he gonna get, and whatever. You spend way too much time worrying about how much the next man has. Unless you got that YouTube channel where you are the pocket watching, that's a whole different thing. That man is doing the detailed analysis, and obviously from his presence, you can tell he got dough, so he don't do it because he's hating. Now, why do you do this? Welcome, ma chérie, RT Entertainment, and D. Duracell Life Solutions. Welcome. Pocket watching. Pocket watching. Sorry, y'all. I keep segueing into speak to the peoples because I'm gonna let y'all know I appreciate y'all being here. I got my magical number 11 in here, so that's all I need. 17 likes and 11 people in the audience. I'm good. Success, ching ching. So the pocket watching, man. Look, you either jealous or you're a serious hater. In either case, your slip is showing and your insecurities are on Front Street. That's right. What that next man got should not be your concern. Unless you are his financial advisor, then that's another story. That's my job. Okay? All right. Stop doing that, man. That's a weakness. You showing that. I know, though. I know, but see, I ain't gonna lie. On some level, I understand. It burns you to your soul when you see another man with money or he's shining. I know it do. See, let me tell you something. At this point in the game, you should already be a master of your finances, so there's no need for you to worry about what the next man has or what he's doing with his dough. Brag about or to even brag about your own. That's another sign too. You flash and flare. Look at me. I got this. Spotlights on me. I got more than you. All this and all that. The man who leads with his bank account is using it as a shield to hide his lack of confidence. Come on, ladies. You at the club. You go from can I buy you a drink to do you want to dance? And then I swear you ain't got 3 minutes in the conversation. He already telling you about some property he got. I'm the one in the Jag. Or he dangling his car keys with the Jaguar emblem on, let you know I'm in the Jag. Weakness, weakness, weakness. Weakness. Cash and trinkets. That does not denote manhood. Your success is great. But quite honestly, you do realize your success can change at any time. And as a man, you got to be prepared to take that downfall too, because sometimes we fall down. We're going to talk about that too, Oh, and since we hitting the topics, for real, homeboy, get out the past. Oh my God. Man, y'all got some, and don't get me wrong, I do this sometimes. I tell these little anecdotes and stories. Usually I do it to make you laugh. But I'm talking more so about where you like to talk about your glorious past. What you did on yesterday is over with. If your present situation is tore up so bad that you got to constantly go back to the past when you was a gangster, when you was running the block, you had all these dope houses, or you had these companies or whatever it is you had, because you don't want to deal with the present day where you are now. Maybe you ain't as successful as you are. Maybe you blew a lot of money, lost a lot of money, made some mistakes. Maybe you did some crimes or something that didn't work out. Right about now, you should be using that as a testament to others to teach the youth. But we got whole channels out here where Negroes is damn near 60, 50, 40. Hell, I'll give you late 30s. And all they talk about is on their channels, they say they represent, I'm on here, I'm trying to, guide the youth and all that. Man, you don't guide them. See, you can't guide the youth and at the same time talk about you was a shooter. I was a shooter. I was a shooter. I was a killer. I was a killer. You're glorifying what you did. See, part of you, I believe a small percentage of you do want to fix. You do want to help the youth in a way, in your own way. You just don't know how to do it. And then part of you feel inadequate. So as you stand in front of these youngsters, you keep reverting back to your jail time. Man, let me tell you something. That dark part of your life, man, again, focus your energy on fixing the present moment. If you calling yourself being an example, then demonstrate to the youngsters of how you transcended the issues or what have you and all that. All that war stories and the glorious past, that got nothing to do with now. The only point in your life where you can exact any change is in the present moment, the here, and the right effing now. This is the only time where you can actually do something, fix something, or make a change. No pun intended. So anyway, definitely. So by now, you probably hearing the sounds of my voice and you saying, I know he ain't talking to me. I know I don't do that. I know. Let me tell you something. I can run through this. Now, normally when I do lives or do these little lectures, I usually use myself as an example. I expose my own weaknesses, expose my own frailties and all that. But I find today, I'm not here to do that. I've done that enough. And then sometimes people help me. You help me do it. You say, hey, let me tell you what this guy did. Let me tell you. You basically create false narratives. You add on the stories and take things and run with it. You imagine, you over exaggerate, which I'm going to talk about too. So you think I'm not talking about you. That's fine. That's nothing but the male ego in denial. I can sit here and tell you that some things I said tonight or will say applies to me. I can be honest enough to do that. Now, so maybe you feel I'm not. This has nothing to do with you, right? You are an alpha male. You are the leader of the pack. You are the chief, the big kahuna, the one in charge, the HNIC, the president, right? Maybe. So what are the signs? Signs of a weak man. How do you know? How do I know it's me? Maybe it's not me. Maybe it's somebody else. All right, well, I'm going to tell you what. First and foremost, cowardice. The unwillingness to stand up when something is wrong. You stand by watching foul shit happen and do nothing to make a correction. That takes me back to the cat fighting ladies. Or any other issue you see in your community, in life, your place of business, whatever you got going on. See, the real reason is you fear leadership and will do anything to keep from getting involved. So you're not gonna stand up. You're not gonna, you're gonna find some reason is none of my business. As the two ladies are brawling, that don't concern me. I'm worried about me and mine over here. I'm worried that's not inside my living room. Yeah, I understand. You'll tell me like, man, it's dangerous out there. I got to get home. Yeah, okay, whatever. Unwillingness to stand up when something is wrong. Hell, it could be something your daughter got a problem up at her school. All to do is take your black ASS, 10 minutes to ride up there and talk to the administration. But you ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. Moving on. Lack of integrity. You have an inability to be honest at all times. You lack integrity. You lie, over exaggerate. Your internal weakness demands that you always project and inflate yourself to appear more grandiose to other people. Other people, half the people you don't know, half of them you don't like, half of them aren't even relevant in your life. I find your need for acceptance by people like this to be disturbing in my Darth Vader voice. But yeah, you gotta lie. When you open your mouth to put out some words, should be nothing but truths and facts coming out your mouth. I hear your speech sometimes. You talk and you say things like, yeah, well, it's probably this. You start to over exaggerate, embellish, add things on. Man, moving right along. More weak traits. Short temper. You can't control your emotions. The slightest bit of resistance and you go from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. At this point, your emotions has completely taken over and you're no longer in control. And if you're not in control, that means somebody else controlling you. Then manhood done went out the window. That's how you end up doing stupid things and getting yourself in a whole bunch of trouble. Now, I'm pretty sure, again, those who resist what I say will say, this is unnecessary, or you want to shoot down, or you want to attack me personally because I'm just speaking on it. Then that's it, is what it is. See, I'm standing up here alone by myself. Meanwhile, while you offer rebuttal, you're surrounded by 8 other dudes with some verbal masturbation telling you how right you are. I don't need to do that. I feel like this, you should have strong arguments, not strong words. If I'm wrong, just prove me wrong. If these people that I'm talking about don't exist, then what fairy tale land are we living in? Moving along, man, weak man, you're condescending. Now, I'm just going to go to the different dictionary definition on this one. To be condescending is to simply interact with others in a way that implies you are superior to them. That goes back to you bragging about your money, your fame, and your buildings and all the stuff you own. It especially refers to when this is done in an arrogant or patronizing way, meaning you act as if you're doing somebody a favor by supposedly lowering yourself to their level of intelligence or understanding. You always got to remind the crowd of how much you're above them, your education, your status in life. Yeah, that's a weakness. Real man don't got to do that. Real man is in control of his emotions. Real man is able to stand up and make corrections when need be. I'm doing it right now. And a real man is honest 99.72% of the time. All right. I don't know, the lady said a lot more of us lie. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So moving around along your over-exaggeration of achievement. You got a gang of imaginary businesses, accumulated wealth, sexual conquest, and on top of all of that, you never do anything wrong. You're perfect. You got the world in the palm of your hand. But yet, you're here with me online daily. You right here. Yeah. Man ain't got to brag about what he got, what he doing. When a man walk in the room, he exudes confidence. You don't have to talk about his achievements. Now, I might talk about my achievement if it's a one-on-one conversation and it just happens to be relevant to the conversation. But as a man, you'll find that your sexual conquest represents nothing, because you'd be surprised how many times you thought you slayed and how many bad reports you got. Welcoming y'all, segue for a second, to YM Wonders Why Welcomes. Sometimes she gets carried the hell away. Carrie Ann in the house. And Empress Janet, welcome, Janae. That's how that's pronounced, y'all. The Queen of Pittsburgh. So, man, I don't know, It almost sounds like, when I say this out loud, I almost ask myself, like, what's the point? But you know what the point is? This is being recorded on at least 2 channels and is going to be documented, and that's what we're doing here. So, another thing. Oh, my God. The hater. You undermine and undervalue the work and contributions of others. God damn it, you stay hating. You can't give a compliment without adding some backhanded ass criticism. You too busy envying instead of being confident within yourself and to being able to celebrate the next man's achievement. I hear this more often than not. I truly do. Get the next man his props. Give him his flowers while he here. And you ain't gotta be, you ain't gotta say, yeah, I see him doing this, but what about that? You know what I mean? Let that man live. Also, you have an inability to listen. You can't hear other points of views or be able to process issues from all angles. You lack judgment and remain emotionally biased instead of using sound reasoning and discernment. I can take that all the way back to the first point I make when I said mind women's businesses. Let me explain something to you. When women have a conflict, instead of you liking more or liking the other, now let's say it is a legitimate conflict. Let's say they even asked you to get involved. Let's say they came to you and said, hey, strong alpha male, whatever the hell you are, can you please come help us resolve this conflict? You should be able to listen objectively, hear both sides without the fact that, well, I like this one, she kind of cuter than her. I'm kind of digging her. So I'm going to lean this way or lean that way. Y'all go out here running off at the mouth when you in these women's businesses, in their business, and you leaning, you obviously biased. Like Ray Charles can see you biased. You don't care about truth. You don't care about facts. You don't care about what really happened. All you care about is you've chosen a side. See, the real man leads. He don't pick sides. The real man come in and shut it down. Now, recently, I've had the privilege of hearing some women in conflict. You know what I did? I'll tell you what I did. Make jokes. I didn't get on one side or the other side. I just go, haha, it's funny. Now, reason why is because sometimes when the conflicts get heated, you got to kind of let these things de-escalate. The best thing for you to do as a man, if you can't get your punk ass involved to fix it, is to stand on the sideline and just kind of lighten the mood. You know what I'm saying? Or just listen. You know what I mean? So anyway, you lack that ability to listen, right? Another thing too, a very, very unmanly trait, shifting blame. You blame other people for your situations and conditions. You can't see your way out of your condition, but instead, you choose to remain a failure while blaming everybody else. You lack the ability to man up and to change your conditions instead of complaining about it. Yeah, see, real man don't blame nobody. Even if you got tricked, fooled, or beguiled, and you ended up in a situation, baby, look, I lost the rent money. I was on the bus playing 3-card Molly. I knew it was a hustle. They got me for $600. The rent money is gone. Boom. That's it. Not how dare them. They took it from me. I got burned out of this. It's their fault. See, babe, if you had called me, then I would have came straight here. I'd have gotten the Uber instead of on the bus. I'd have seen them dudes with the shell game, whatever, shifting the blame. Y'all been doing that since the beginning of time. I read in one of your holy books when a man had fell from grace and the supreme creator of all asked him, yo, why'd you do that, man? Why you break the rule? He said, the woman you gave me, she fooled me and that's why I did that. Y'all been blaming, shifting blame since the beginning of time, according to that book. So it's been a while. It's been at least 2,000 years. Man up. Take responsibility for yourself. Even if you did something goofy or dumb, just accept it. Final point here. Making jokes at the expense of others. Now, let me be the first to say, I love some humor. I love a good joke, right? Because you know me, I'm always clowning. I always type crazy stuff. And if I'm in your chat, I'll type something funny or make a little joke, a key, what have you. But what I mean more so is doing it in a malicious way, right? You live your whole life clowning and joking while putting other people down. You do it to make people feel bad. You don't do it to enlighten. You don't do it to bring humor and joy. You try to hide your own inadequacies by wrapping them up into humor or constant trolling. That's what y'all call it now. That thing you do, you call it trolling, and trolling fits, the umbrella trolling fits under everything. You can make a cruel joke and you say, I'm trolling. You can make a serious comment looking to get a reaction out of somebody, and you know it's going to be hurtful, but you do it anyway and say, I'm trolling. Do you understand? It's the difference between being a comedian and being funny and making people laugh and feel good about themselves versus you trolling. Now, just because you do it and it appears socially acceptable, don't make it right. The reason why you do this to make yourself feel superior, especially to those who find you funny, but behind the curtain, you're really a cold, weak, shivering young female. I can see it. See, when I speak like this and you see me getting hate, getting daggers thrown back at me because I'm breaking the rules, I'm gonna tell you something. I've been like this for a long time. I don't get invitations to cookouts no more because people ask me questions and I answer them truthfully, and sometimes people don't want to hear the outcome. I remember one time being at a barbecue, and all of a sudden, for some reason, the ladies were sitting at my table and they started asking me questions, so I started to answer. And then one of the brothers came over to me, and by the way, everybody here was married except for me at this time. And he said, Man, you over here giving up the game. I said, what game I'm giving up? Y'all all married dudes. Game is over. Ain't no game. What? When I'm I'm telling what I'm giving up the playbook. Is that what I'm doing? Game over, fellas. I mean, now I did say, and by the way, I pinned the link for anybody that feels like you want to come join the discussion or help me out, because this is a relatively short one. And normally I do say, you know, TMK, this is a solutions-based platform. What can I do? I see you, D. What can I do? Some things I can't fix. So I'm going to welcome to the stream. It's my homeboy, my spiritual brother. We was born on the same day both of our mamas had their ankles in the stirrups when we came into this round. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Derek Charleston Blue Williams. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Shout out and respect, dude, to Dr. Bombay, Team Gemini all day. How are you, sir?
Man, you know, I can't call it. Same old suit, just reheated.
Yep. Same here, living my life day by day like Rambo. Yeah, I heard you mention something about manhood about maybe 2-3 minutes ago. And I put in the chat is that Dr. Bombay, if you get 10 guys in a room, you're going to get 10 different interpretations on what manhood is. And so I would assume, I always say a man is as he does, a man is as he carries himself. But what does that exactly mean? If he's about community, if he's about his family, his children, he's quick to come to the defense of women, even though they may not be his blood sister or something like that. That's, to me, that's manhood. You know, it's just not enough to be dictatorial and say, look, I got the last word in the house, or I'm gonna over talk everybody and stuff like that. A man also can show vulnerability. A man can be compassionate. He can be empathetic. He can be sympathetic and things like that. But in our current the way the world is now, what I just said, that's called simping, you know. And so it's kind of fun because don't no man really want to have his manhood challenged by nobody. You know, that usually ends up in fights and stuff like that. So, you know, like a lot of times men don't, they scared to say stuff like that. But a man can a man can raise a child and he can whoop that ass too. You know, he can do both. But I think, like I said, in our current situation today, if you try to act like you have compassion towards your fellow humans, that's being a simp, or you're sorry, or you're gay, and all this old ignorant, you know, stuff like that. And so I think that, you know, men need to seek out other men, and you can build with them, because a lot of times you find yourself almost like you feel like a man on an island. I'll just take myself as an example. Here in Philadelphia, all the men, all I hear them talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't talk about CBDCs, you know. They don't talk about the shot and how it's knocking folks off. They don't talk about stuff that actually matters. They don't talk about how do you go about raising a child. You know, Master P's son just went off on him, like Curtis Jackson's son went off on him. They don't talk about manhood and how you're supposed to raise your child. They talk about topical stuff, you know, like football and stuff like that, shit that don't matter. So you'll find if you call yourself a man, that's kind of childish. We supposed to be adults now. And yes, I like a football game like the next man. I like basketball. I go to Sixers game, but we're more than that. We're more than that. And so it's just funny. It's just fun. It's just funny being a man in this you know, in this current environment. To, you know, a lot of dudes, they want to act out, and this reason why, in my opinion, they pull out guns instead of trying to resolve issues and talk like men do. It's more quicker to bust your gun. That's exhibiting manhood today. Or if they're dealing with a female, go upside her head. Well, you know, even when I was coming up in the 70s in Mississippi, it was like that. You know, you go upside the head. So I don't know, but I would say if you get 10 guys in a room, you're going to get 10 different interpretations on manhood. And real quick, and then I'll drop back down. Um, you have so many quote men that hide behind avatars. They won't show their face, and they quick to talk all this hot shit online, but they wouldn't dare say none of this stuff to your face. And so, like people like that, you just have to dismiss them. You just have to dismiss them. And I always reference the video you and I did about a year and a half ago called Trolls, you know, and the way
Yeah,
you broke it down, you were way more articulate on the matter than I, but that's where we are. So, you know, men, they can hide behind these avatars and they can beat their chest that way, but they wouldn't do it in real time. And so you just have to dismiss people like that. You know where they coming from. They idiots, they mammies left them to die. They daddies ain't shit, obviously. And so quite naturally, they want to go off and show off in this way because they had an anonymity of being behind an avatar. So that's pretty much my take on that whole man thing. So you know.
You know what though? You actually added a lot that I didn't even think of. First of all, going in reverse, backwards of what you said. The whole avatar thing. Like right now, I mean, I have an avatar on. I'm on my channel on camera. That's not a big thing. I mean, hell, if I wasn't lazy, I'd turn it on now. Yes, definitely. See, and I said this, and this is why, like, sometimes I've gotten the hate that I got when I say things like, why you gotta have 6 of your boys with you? Y'all all hiding behind the camera. All of you, y'all don't never get on camera. Y'all talk the most trash. Y'all the loudest. And you think because you surrounded by these people that somehow that makes you right. But like I said, do what I do. Get on the show. Turn your camera on if you dare. Hold it down for a whole hour. Let me see your facial expressions while you sitting there saying what you saying. See, the anonymity, I can't say that word. Being anonymous, it gives you more strength. Like when people type text messages, they say things in text they wouldn't say. But like what Brother D said, if you were standing there, if half of you were standing there in each other's face, you would not say what you say. Because a lot of the stuff you say warrants an ass whipping. It means hands got to get put on. When you put a jacket on a man and you say certain things, you need to get God after that. That's what's supposed to happen. Now, going back to what you were saying about us as men not talking about serious topics, taking things serious. We all sports, nothing else. We don't care about the condition of our world. We're not out here making any changes, and all we talk about is getting that bag. Like I said, see, back in the day, yeah, I'm talking about back in the day, you know, me and you, we could be in the same neighborhood. We could have a fist fight and you could win. You know what I'm saying? After that, we could shake hands immediately after, or 2 days after my embarrassment wears off. We back cool again, and it might come up again. I might get you next time. We ain't had to pull no guns out. It ain't got to be no gunplay. Gunplay, most of them dudes can't fight. And I keep saying, ain't no guns in jail. What you gonna do when you get on the inside? I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be braiding hair, washing out drawers, asking your grandmother to put extra snack cakes in your commissary because you got to pay people. That's what you're gonna be doing. But then you're gonna come out here and jump on the internet and tell us you was a killer, you was a shooter, and you ever notice nobody? Does anybody ever come home from jail and say they took a L in jail? Never. And you won every fight. You stabbed everybody. You was whooping God's ass up in there. You was doing everything. But we know better than that. So like I said, this platform exists. This brother on screen, Derek Williams, make sure you put your link in the chat. He talks about serious topics on his channel. He talks about relevant things. Some of it he's gotten channels shut down because he was trying to bring the truth out, you know, and the YouTube gods didn't approve it at the time. Now they're a little more liberal with the way they run things. But you know, everybody, hey, you remember where we met at, right? So everybody want to talk about that. Everybody want to talk about Mr. Campbell back in the day. We don't want to talk about that. That man got 500,000 people and ain't doing the damn thing with the microphone, but still talking about ass war stories.
Well, that's essentially all it is, and I think what it is, you know, hindsight being 2020, a lot of people live vicariously through characters like that dude. Like not a man at all, but the stories. You see, the stories are what make that whole character come alive. And my attitude has always been, Dr. Bombay, who do you blame more? Do you blame the audience or do you blame the circus clown? And we have a lot of people that live vicariously through people that come on YouTube and start a lot of beef. But yes, that is true. I lost 2 channels for talking about what I thought was relevant, and it is relevant actually. Every day, more and more stuff is coming out, making everything that I said a year, 2 years ago come out in spades. But nonetheless, I understand. They ain't nobody trying to hear that. I want to hear about who got dissed on YouTube. I want to hear about my sports team or what girl got outed on YouTube and stuff like that. Or I guess the flavor of the month now, unfortunately, is the death of the Robinson young lady. But I would submit to you, Dr. Bombay, she's not the first nor the last. So this is just a flavor of the month, but that's the stuff that keeps people going. We have a very short attention span, and everything is sensationalized. So I understand that. That's just what it is on the internet. This is never gonna stop. It's gonna outlive us all. And so I resign myself to that fact. But for when you come to my channel, just know I think I try to bring stuff that matters. So that's just me. So I'm gonna drop back down, and I will put my link in the chat. And thank you for having me on. All right.
Yeah, no doubt. Peace.
All right. You take care of yourself. Salute. All right.
Yeah, so I have here too. I see you said give you a second. Brother Muslim is on here, joining on the panel. This brother always has a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge on a variety of topics. How you doing, bro? Oh, you said give you a second. All right. Well, whenever you get your microphone together or you get situated, please feel free to let me know and chime in, because I definitely want to hear from you. So I'm going to keep babbling until you get it on. But yeah, Brother D was definitely speaking on it. Again, there's a time and place for everything. Again, we're going to say it like it is. Now, if you disagree with what I'm saying and you a man, then simply just prove me wrong. This ain't no personal thing. Now, last year, you might have got me on some personal stuff. I was reacting to individuals personally. I'm gearing up for 2023. We're going in and we're having real topics. We're having real discussions. We're not doing the typical and the usual drama and nonsense. Like he said, like Brother D said, it's funny how he brought that up. Some woman got outed, and that's the thing. And that sound familiar to y'all? What I look like as a man sitting back celebrating that. What I look like. You know what I'm saying? I got, out of all my kids and spouses, like I said, 95% of us is females. So I'm more of a protector in that aspect. So, brother Muslim, welcome. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother. How are you? How's everything? Can you hear me?
Naam. And that'd be khairan, shukran.
I have a different take, but it's
Yeah,
sort
go
of
ahead.
similar,
Break
but
it down.
different take.
Yeah,
I
give me
think
that.
a man, right? A man is a person that can control themselves in the time of anger. That makes a person more stronger than the other person. If we're going at it, it's not the person that can yell more. It's not the person that could subdue the other. It's the person that when that time comes, when that anger is about to get the best of you, you control yourself. And by controlling your anger, you won't allow yourself to get into these fights. And I've always lived by this, online. If I can't say something to people directly to your face, I won't say it then. Because it's difficult for me to curse people out or say this and say that, knowing that there is nothing that can happen. I'm hiding behind a screen. Like, where's the, it's hypocritical, like I would feel shameful, cowardly. That's just my take on it.
Where did you get those traits from?
Well, it's Islam, being respectful to people. Not always should you go back at people by the way they came at you. You know what I'm saying? For example, I'll just throw this out there. It's an eye for an eye and it's a tooth for a tooth. That meaning that if you hurt my eye, okay, I have the right to hurt your eye. But if you go after my son, I don't have the right to go after your son. I got the right to come after you, but not your family.
Oh, well, we see a lot of that.
Right.
Definitely.
So it's like that's innocent people, you know what I'm saying, that you're going to hurt because the parents are acting fools, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, it's like just going out in the street and hurting any little kid that you see because that's exactly what's happening on that kid's end.
Or attacking each other's children online.
Yeah, there's
I
no
don't.
there's no call for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean saying something in passing. Like if you say something about like hey, your daughter's ugly. Well, you've never seen my daughter, and then which one are you talking about? It's so I got like 30 of them. Which one are you talking about? And
Right.
even if you were, I wouldn't care. Like you don't know them, so now if you're going out where you're dropping the names, you're dropping the photos and stuff like that, then basically now you're putting a child in danger. So
Right. You're right. You're bringing it onto yourself. Yeah, that's why I always say don't disclose any of your personal information, family or anything like that in this sector.
yeah, as a matter of fact, I would even go further to say keep your kids off the internet. Period. Like definitely, it's too dangerous out here. And I keep telling, and I know sometimes well, you have a family channel. I understand, you got your kids there, people know their names, but you got to understand, somebody can see your channel. If they're in your town, they could ride past your door to school and call her by her name. So you got to be real careful. If you're gonna have something like that, definitely tell your kids the protocol. But I really wouldn't advertise them on here. But yeah, man, as far as so you said you drew um qualities of manhood from Islam. So you had a basis
Yeah.
for that. See, and that's a lot of times we grow up as men, quote unquote, we don't have a basis. We don't have the guidance. Like nobody is giving us, not that you need a book, but at least if you have a strong example, to follow. So sometimes we don't have that, but it is good if you have a way of life or a belief, and your belief tells you, or well, as we say, a dean to follow.
Dean. Yeah. The
So
path. Yeah. Well, I lost my father when I was almost before I was 12 years old. So
wow,
the streets was my father. I never had nobody. If I could wish for one thing, I just wish I had somebody that cared about me. When I was a kid,
yeah,
I ain't
yeah,
have that. I ain't have
yeah. I
that.
lost I lost mine when I was young, but again, I always say I speak about them quite often on here. I said every time, and I didn't understand this when I was young, why me and this man, my dad, we would always walk and talk. Like I used to be like, oh my God, here we go again. He like, come on, let's take a walk. And it would be like miles. And it was just always filled with lessons. It was lessons, lessons. And he always say, because one day I might not be here. And I'm like, why does he say that? I would cringe every time he say that because you imagining, I was thinking like, did he know something I didn't know, or was he sick? And he wasn't. So when he passed, it was a easier blow. There was a couple of lessons I missed though, that I could have used, but hey, I made it through. Some of us, I said earlier, some of us didn't have, you could tell wasn't no man around, and
Yeah,
it's
and my father and my mother were going through a divorce when I was like 6 or 7,
ooh,
so I barely got anything from my dad. But he was a nice man, though. My older sister used to tell me things that he
yeah,
used to do for her. Like one time, she had a boyfriend. My older sister had a boyfriend, and my father tried to arrange her to get her married to someone. And they had the engagement party and all that stuff, and that's when she had to let him know that she's in love with a guy that she's in high school with. So she tried to kill herself. And
wow,
my father, when he found out, he was like, "What's wrong?" And she told him the truth, and he said, "Okay, it's all right, honey, don't worry." And what he did was, he had to take out a loan to pay for that engagement party. It was like $65,000,
So
and he allowed her to marry her high school sweetheart.
wow. It's funny when we talk about the tradition with the arrangements. I know a lot of people that have gone through that, and that is difficult, especially in the West, where it's not the thing. Like you're in school and you have a tradition and you see every other girl in the school choosing, you know. So yeah, definitely, man. That you know, your dad handled it. He took care of the business. That's what a man do. He stands up. He like, hey, I know this is thousands of years of tradition, but I love my kids more, and I'm not hurting anybody by letting them choose what they want to do.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
manhood.
In Islam, right? In Islam, when a woman needs a wali, you know what that is, a
Uh huh.
guardian, to check the man, to make sure that the man is legit, because a man knows a man better than a woman knows a man. If I was to, want to know how good my future wife is, I want my mother to check her out, not my father, you know.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
yeah, so what he did was he's like, look, in Islam there is no force. La ikraha fi din. There is no force in religion. You can't force nobody to do anything. So being that if a girl she's young and you're going to arrange her, say she's 17 whatever, the parents should know better than the girl because she's young. She's a virgin, she doesn't know anything. But still you can't force her to marry anyone she doesn't want to. That's in Islam. That's from God Almighty. So that's a sin to force a woman to marry someone she doesn't want to. So he did that. He was following Islam and of course his heart too. He didn't want to see his daughter live, leave her love for this person she don't know.
Carrie had asked a question. She says, "Aren't apostates put to death?"
No, no, that's not. You see, apostates meaning that people see, let me explain this to you. All right. In America, isn't treason a capital crime?
Yep.
Okay. In Islam, this is what they mean by apostate. They mean that the person was part of the Islamic empire or the Islamic government. And what he did, he went to the enemy side. You understand? Now he's cahooting with the enemies. Now he's no longer a Muslim and he's with the enemies that are attacking the Muslims. Now his life is still not warranted to be taken away from him only if he discloses information that kills innocent people. Then now his life has to be taken. I'll give you an example. You guys remember what was that? The Manhattan Project. You guys remember when they were making the bomb,
Yep.
and then there was those two communists, the Rosenbergs, that they the ones that snuck over the information of how to make the bomb to the Soviet Union, to Stalin.
Yep.
What did the US do to them? They put them to death.
Oh yeah.
Okay, in Islam, they would not have been put to death because their actions didn't cause no one to die.
Wow.
So leaking secret information in the Islamic government doesn't warrant treason, doesn't warrant you to kill that person. Only if that person leaked secret information that caused the death of people, then their lives have to be snatched. So that's what that means by apostate, meaning that you left the Islamic government, went to the enemies, and now you're cahooting with the enemies. Now, if you're just giving them secrets, you're okay, you're good. They're not going to come after you. And what if you just apostate? You don't want to be a Muslim. You just live in your life. No, that's it. Doesn't matter. That's it. You're no longer a Muslim, and you have rights. As a non-Muslim, you have rights over Muslims. Muslims, like for example, in Islam, homosexuality, there's a place for gays in Islam. That be a person that's a Muslim and gay, that doesn't mean he's not gay. That doesn't mean he's not a Muslim. Being gay doesn't take you out of the fold of Islam. Only shirk, associating partners with God. It's
Wow.
worshiping something that's not God. That'll take you out of the fold. But being a homosexual, no. And they have rights. They have rights. They have to be protected by Islam. Islam protects them. Anything that God Almighty created, humans, animals, the mountains, the sun, whatever, atmosphere, the air, all have rights over you. We are the caretakers of this planet. So, in other words, God Almighty said that He has to do the planet for us humans, but He also has made us the caretakers of this planet. And what a job we're doing, right? We're destroying it in every way, shape, and form. But that's un-Islamic. You see, mountains, you can't blow them up these days. What they do, mountaintop removal. You ever see that shit? They
Nah.
just blow up mountains. They're instead of mining for coal, they just blow up the whole mountain. You can't do that. That's a major sin. Poison, polluting rivers. That's a sin. Those CO2s that we are damaging the atmosphere. That's a sin. All this is sin. You can't even smack a cat in the face or just you know not take care of animals right. Like how you have these farm factories where they got all these chickens in this factory. It's like 1,000 of them lined up. That's
Yeah.
haram. You can't do that. You got to keep animals in their natural habitat.
Wow.
And not only that, but there are people who are protesting against animal farming, and if they take pictures, they put them away for like 5 6 years. They be trying to lock the people up. These people who protest animal farming, so.
Well,
And fracking, yeah, fracking, that's haram. Yeah, we don't know what type of components they put in there. All these damn stuff that'll kill you, man. And all the food that we eat today is all poisons. It has to be organic.
no doubt. It's funny. I say that all the time. I said, man, hey, they got us in the supermarket. They have the section called organic. And, like that's something special. I said, man, 80 years ago, all food was organic. It wasn't anything overly produced with chemicals and rust through processes with preservatives and stuff that the FDA will allow to pass as food when truly it's a chemical and has no nutritional value whatsoever. So,
Real quick, hold out. If I could just answer this one thing that Carrie Ann said, an apostate is someone who professes disbelief in Islam after professing belief, whether you work for a government or not. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, that's the definition. But what I'm saying is their life is not to be snatched because they were Muslims and then non-Muslims. That's what I'm saying. You have no right to take their lives. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he's an apostate. So what? But I'm a disbeliever too. I don't believe in Christianity. Everyone's a disbeliever in every single way. We all come programmed. We all do. Every single one of us. Whether you're an atheist, agnostic, a Muslim, Christian, whatever. As we grow, we get programmed. But you don't have the right to take that person's life. That's what I'm saying.
wow.
If that
So
answers the question.
let me ask you something. What's your opinion on my previous commentary?
Which one, brother?
Well, I was kind of in general. I was just kind of, coming up here, just kind of exposing, shedding light, offering my insight or my thoughts on some of the failures of us, and I use the word loosely, us. You kind of touched on it. You gave your definition of what how you feel, how you see things as being a man, and whatever. Derek came up, he kind of talked about some of the things and the shortcomings. Again, I ain't trying to guide you or beat up
Oh,
on the
okay.
topic. I find your commentary very valuable.
Okay.
What you did bring, because everything that y'all always bring always helps me with more insight. That's what this building is about.
I said this. I said this plenty of times, and I think T. Pre could vouch for this. I said that no matter what, family and children are off limits, and then I threw in the woman of this sector. I said that like twice, 3 times. I said the women of this sector need to be protected. I even told, if you want, ask. Let me see your transcripts. I told her. I said, from now on, I'm going to protect you from the men. But on the woman, you're on your own. And we
just
started laughing. But
just
the
to let
thing
you
is,
know, I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, we don't. It's not about the sector though. That's the only
oh,
thing. So I just wanted.
okay.
Yeah. I just meant in general. Like I said, because yeah, I try to stay away from the sector stuff. But I see what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I agree with the sentiment. I just
But
didn't want because
but if I could just finish real quick, the
go
thing
ahead,
is, who am I? I'm nobody to say that, you know?
Got it.
Like
And you're
that's
right.
why I backed off of that. I said it once or like twice, and then that's it. I left it there. I can't
Yeah.
keep harking on it because I'm nobody in the sector, man. I'm the one that's in the cheap seats, not even sitting in the cheap seats in the back, sitting on the floor behind the cheap seats in the back.
I don't know about
So
that, but right now you're not standing in the sector. So I'm gonna say that yes, I believe what you're saying. Humility is a very manly trait, Sometimes we have to but growing up, I had men make corrections on me. So I feel like as a man, I have to make corrections too. So that was the whole premise of this topic was for me to say, hey, look, man, I'm seeing some stuff around here. I don't think it's cool. And I don't mean around here like on the internet in this particular space, because I'm trying to get out of that. Like, I don't want people, just so happens people that are subscribed to me come from certain areas of YouTube. Matter of fact, all the people in the room came from all different sections, so that's why I don't like to focus on one area. But yeah, sometimes you just got to make a correction. Somebody got to stand up and do that. Sometimes I listen, I hear, I think everybody got a right to their little freedom of speech. But after a while, I'm like, damn, I'm looking around, I'm seeing things crumbling. I'm seeing us as a unit falling apart. Somebody got to say something. We just can't let bullish go on. So that was the whole point. I kind of got some thoughts together, came on to speak on the mic. So look, been rolling for over an hour. That was my goal. This was going to be a relatively short one. You have any final words before we wrap up?
no, I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me up, and I'm gonna try to make it, that I do catch your lives and I come up here more often.
I
If
appreciate that. I really
Thank
do.
you. Thank you for having me, brother.
It was good having you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. All right, y'all. And there you have it. So, a very necessary commentary. Again, I did start off saying this is a non-sectarian zone. I know, and the reason why we try to keep the message universal, because there are people that are in attendance and will review this commentary, and they don't know who we're talking about when we name the names from any one particular section of YouTube. So we try to kind of keep from doing that. And it's not necessary, and a lot of people aren't that damn relevant to where it matters, non-celebrity status. And nothing wrong with that. I'm not a celebrity either. I'm not a real doctor. I just play one on YouTube. So again, man, I appreciate the few that came out. Like I said, I'm good with my 11. I'm good with whatever I get out of this. Hell, if I had one of you here, I'm happy about that. And that's the one part I didn't add into. When you're on social media, it's not about you, man. Come on, really. View counts, watch hours. That is not real. It's not real. That doesn't make you anything. And the reason why I say that is because of this. You could get 100,000 subscribers. You could have 10,000 views on every live stream you do. But know this, the people, the gods on high that own this platform, you say one thing they don't like, you sneeze wrong, and they will unplug your ass in a heartbeat. And ain't nothing you could do about it. And ain't nothing manly about that. As a man, you control your own destiny. As a man, you're not caring about accolades. What matters, how many views you get from your kids. How many watch hours you get from your spouse? How many subscriptions do you get from your relatives, that reach out to you for your guidance and your assistance? That's where it matters in the real world. This ain't real. But I understand. I've spoken in the past and said sometimes you gotta have, I understand. Y'all know me, I'm fair. I always say, I understand why you're here. I know why you do the things you do. I know why you hide. I understand it all. But at the same time, I can't just go on understanding. I got to tell you, hey, this is something that I see that ain't right. And somebody got to say something to you, because Lord knows, obviously nobody else did. So with that, I leave you with words of peace and tranquility. Namaste.